Welcome to Crypto Corner. Here are today's breaking news. NFTs are being launched on the Bitcoin network for the first time, causing a lot of controversy and outrage by the Bitcoin community. January proved to be a very strong month for crypto this time around. Following the collapse of FTX and the initial panic about possible further exchange controversies, Bitcoin exchange movements normalized this month. Polygon on OpenSea reaches a new milestone in terms of volume, but the weighted sentiment for Polygon is in decline. BixBit Bug Bounty is in full force, and people in Nigeria are paying up to $10,000 extra per Bitcoin after ATM restrictions are limiting their access to cash. The price of Bitcoin soars in Nigeria due to the government trying to impose their CBDC and go cashless. The people are rebelling against this. It's the kind of resistance that I want to see everywhere in the world, to be honest. I will go into more details, of course, now. Stay tuned, let's get started. Alright guys, welcome to episode 576 of Crypto Corner, the video podcast where we talk everything crypto related to help you navigate safely in the crypto space. It's the last day of January and I have the scoop of the top stories for you today, starting with the outrage that was caused by the launch of NFTs on the Bitcoin blockchain. This is something that we were expecting for some time now, ever since the Taproot upgrade was implemented back in November 2021. This was a major protocol upgrade that made it possible to build non-fungible tokens and smart contracts on the Bitcoin blockchain. At first, this was intended for functional smart contracts that would automate certain actions and make Bitcoin more flexible for various use cases, but today we're seeing a lot of controversy caused by the launch of Ordinals, an NFT project that is dividing the Bitcoin community, with some calling it an attack on the blockchain original mission to conduct financial transactions, while others say that the new use case should be embraced alongside other demands for block space. The Ordinals creator said that the protocol uses inscriptions or arbitrary content like text or images that can be added to sequentially numbered satoshis, the smallest denominator of Bitcoin, to create unique digital artifacts that can be held and transferred across the Bitcoin network like any other satoshis. And this has now reignited an old debate on whether Bitcoin should be used for non-financial purposes. In 2010, the inventor of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, took a stance on this question, and his position at the time was no, Bitcoin should serve as a payment network and not try to do too many things at once, which is also the reason why we have Ethereum today. Maybe you don't know that, but Vitalik was first writing code for Bitcoin. He was one of the developers of Bitcoin until his proposal to add smart contracts on Bitcoin was rejected, so he then went on to launch Ethereum and do all the cool things that he wanted and envisioned for it. But he tried to do all this with Bitcoin first. The opponents of this argue that Ordinals will compete with traditional payment transactions by crowding blocks and driving up transaction fees, which is a fair point. It's been a while since we had truly big transaction fees on Bitcoin, and I'd hate to see them rise again, especially for something as trivial as JPEGs in the form of NFTs. We already have a dozen blockchains that support this. Do we really need them on Bitcoin too? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now we'll look at the January performance of Bitcoin, as it is the last day of the month, but before that, a quick reminder about the bug bounty by BixBit. I told you about this last week, but if you missed that episode, here it is in a nutshell. You know, I am no fan of cloud mining. I have been very vocal and upfront about that. I think the only way to mine any crypto is by running your own mining rigs, your own equipment. And this is a chance to make some extra cash while doing it by taking part in the BixBit Offer. BixBit is launching a bug bounty campaign where you get rewards for finding bugs, but not only that, if you know others who want to take part in this test run, inviting them to the bug bounty will also generate rewards for you. So it's something that I think is quite doable. They specialize on mining equipment that makes it easier for us to mine crypto with their affordable units with immersion cooling system, and now also an automated monitoring system, which you will be testing. The products are available in more than 15 countries, including Germany, Canada, Norway, Switzerland. They have designed an immersion cooling and a sealed container to protect the equipment from failures, to prevent overheating and ingress of small debris, making mining profitable, sustainable, and cutting the carbon footprint down to pretty much zero, something that is much needed among all the media obsession with the energy consumption of crypto mining in general. And according to the company, the BixBit mobile miner increases profit from mining by having virtually no maintenance costs, and the firmware gives overclocking up to 40%, at the same time increases the consumption of the miner. Now, using the example of the online calculator, if you enter 100 terahash with a consumption of 3250 watts, the profit for the day we get is $3.9 from the ASIC. If we use 140 terahash and 5000 watts, profit is $494 per day. That's 25% extra. And by joining this bug bounty program, you get to test this, and you can even win one of these ASICs for free. This is the big prize. They're doing a raffle where the grand prize is a free unit. So time is ticking, guys. Get in before it's too late. Or you can get monetary rewards too. The top 3 users on the leaderboard will win extra special prizes. You will find out about this from the Bug Bounty website. You can see the link in the description below. I will quickly show you what you need to do to take part in this. Take a look. So let me quickly show you the process. This is the website. Here you can actually find more details about exactly what the bug bounty entails, and you have to pay attention to this. So basically you are trying the monitoring system and submitting a detailed review. As you scroll down, you will see here, of course, the top prize is a branded BixBit ASIC unit, and also you can win up to $250. A few winners of this monetary prize as well. What you will be testing: the AMS, the automated monitoring system, which tracks the status of your miners and notifies you on hash rate drops or temperature spikes, and others. Firmware as well. You will evaluate the custom firmware itself, including the added profitability and the energy savings. From here you will download the firmware. How to get the reward? Now pay attention to this. So you will register at BixBit, you will download and install the firmware, you will run a test and the firmware and the automated monitoring system, submit a review, and also there will be some extra tasks that you can complete to earn extra points. Alright, so let's go to the top here and join the bounty. If you are not registered, of course, first you will go here. Rather than logging in, you will go to register. You will enter your username, and once you're registered, you can now log into your account. So this is where I'm going to keep track on the points that I'm earning, and this is the link that I'm going to share with you, and you will get your own link. You can also share that with any of your friends if you want to actually join together or whatever you want to do. Here is where you're going to download the firmware and of course the registration in the automated monitoring system. And of course you have to give the feedback. This is the most important part. This is how you're going to be earning these points. So of course I urge you to go and read more about it, go through all of the details here. This download firmware here is, by the way, the same as the button that you will see on the top here. So whether you download it from here or down here, it doesn't really matter. It is the same firmware. And as I said, you have to complete all of these steps in order to earn the rewards. So, as you see, this is a very straightforward process. BixBit is currently the only major provider offering custom firmware for WhatsMiner ASICs. Together with a firmware, we get access to the automated monitoring system, AMS, the custom firmware, which allows to improve ASIC's performance, increasing their hash rate by 20 to 40% and even by 50% when coupled with an extra power supply. The firmware and AMS are completely free to download and use. There is a developer fee ranging from 1.8 to 2.8% depending on the ASIC model, so take that into account. And there's other advantages like downvoting, optimizing your energy consumption, a proxy server, the immersion cooling support, easy setup with the WhatsMiner tool, overlocking with 2 hashing boards, power supply firmware for additional performance improvement, also the automated monitoring system for the ASICs, and additional overlocking with an extra power supply. All good stuff. I'm sure you will find this to be your most profitable rig. So take action now. You will find the link in the description from where you can register and jump into this offer as soon as possible, guys. It's only running for a limited time. In other news, the Bitcoin exchange movements seem to have normalized. Glassnode reports that Bitcoin on-chain transactions spiked by over 50,000 per day over the past week. Exchange-related transactions accounted for 35% of the total, a metric that has been declining since May 2021. From what I see, exchange flows have normalized since the FTX collapse. People seem to be moving assets back to exchanges. This is mainly triggered by the volatility and the recent rallies that we saw across all major cryptocurrencies. However, the amount of crypto held on exchanges is still in decline in general. The total balance of Bitcoin stored from trading platforms is around 2.25 million Bitcoin, according to the report, and this represents 11.7% of the circulating supply. And this is at a multi-year low, last seen back in February 2018. Glassnode added that the total amount of Bitcoin flowing into and out of exchanges was around $625 million per day in both directions. This shows that exchange flows are now evenly balanced following the turmoil of late 2022, when it was mainly outflows. Most of the exchange activity for the month has been whales, addresses with more than 1,000 Bitcoin. And all in all, this January, whales contributed between $185 million to $215 million to total exchange inflows and outflows. In my next video, I will be doing a proper wrap-up of January. Today is the last day, so I'm waiting for us to close the month, and I will give you the statistics. So make sure that you catch that episode. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell. Now, moving on to the next story, Bitcoin has seen an exponential increase in demand in Nigeria as the country's central bank encourages the population to switch to digital cash. As a result, the price of Bitcoin has escalated tremendously above global market levels. According to reports, Nigerians are only permitted to withdraw a maximum of 20,000 nairas, which is around $43 per day from cash points, and also a limit of 100,000 narias per week, which is around $217 per week. These limits escalated the urgency of having more autonomy over your own money, and the appetite for Bitcoin has increased drastically as a result. The cost of one Bitcoin on Nigeria's crypto exchange NairaX is currently trading at around $38,000, and this represents an increase of almost 60% compared to Bitcoin's current price of roughly $23,000. And all of this because of the CBDC, which the Central Bank of Nigeria is trying to impose to its citizens. It is not being well received. In fact, back in 2021, the Central Bank of Nigeria forced all financial institutions to stop providing services to crypto exchanges. It also called for the closure of accounts of individuals and companies that actively use cryptocurrencies and trade in digital assets. This was a move to encourage the adoption of the central bank digital currency, the e-Naira, which had a very unsuccessful launch. It's not at all popular, with the population reaching about 0.5% adoption. And lastly, AMB Crypto is reporting that Polygon is reaching a new milestone on OpenSea in terms of volume, but unfortunately the weighted sentiment is in decline. Apparently, there has been a lot of interest and a lot of spike in volume in trading NFTs on Polygon, which is great. I mean, this means that we are seeing a lot of interest in NFTs launched on that blockchain. And also, this increased interest in NFTs has also brought an increase in the total value locked on Polygon. The article reports that the volume has spiked from 988 million to about 1.22 billion in just the last month, according to DeFi Llama. And with that total value locked increase, the amount of revenue generated by Polygon has also grown by 30%. However, they say despite the growing interest in Polygon's NFT space and the increase in total value locked, the weighted sentiment for Polygon has declined. This suggested that the crypto community had a negative outlook against Polygon at the time of writing, they say. I wonder why this could be. Perhaps my previous video, which I posted more than a week ago, could give you a hint. If you haven't watched it, make sure that you catch it. It will be linked at the end of this video. According to this chart, also the whale interest in Polygon has been declined. We haven't actually seen any of the bigger accounts that have been accumulating Matic over the last few months purchase huge amounts over the last few weeks. Alright, well, this concludes today's episode, guys. I'm trying to keep this as short and informative as possible. Let me know if you have any questions or any comments. Drop them in the comments below. Show your support, leave a like, and also make sure that you're subscribed and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. And also, check out the links in the description below where I drop the links to all of the crypto services that I'm personally using and that I recommend to you. And while you're here, just pick another one of my videos, and I'll see you there.